learning that I got the sax. Danielle was wearing his Pikachu hat when he told me, like, he was like talking and complaining about the weather, and he was like, you know, I really hate how it snows here. And I'm like, you know, I'd rather rain than snow. And he's like, well, you know what's real funny about that? You're gonna be in a place where it rains. You're going to Oxford. And all I could say was, wow. All right, hi everyone. I'm Tyler Maria Johnson, and I'm a graduate of the class of 2019, and I'm the 2019 SAC Scholar.
Hello everyone, my name is Hans Hanley. I graduated in 2018, and I'm the 2018 SAC Scholar. Of Worcester specifically.
Of Worcester, exactly. We're gonna do a little video for you guys about what fellowships are about, how you might go about getting one, or how you might just start this process of thinking about it, especially if you are a freshman or a sophomore at Princeton.
So basically it's like a grant that an organization gives you so that you can go and study. Some fellowships include like Fulbright, Rhodes, Marshall, and those are the big names, but also there's fellowships like on the junior and sophomore level.
So if you're a freshman or you are a senior, definitely have them on your radar because their fellowships offered for almost every year that you're at the university. So don't count yourself out if you just got to Princeton, and don't count yourself out if you're about to leave Princeton.
Yeah.
I
know several people who took a year off and then applied for fellowships and then they got the Marshall. So like, always have that on your radar.
There's a bunch of free money out there, and y'all need to go get it. Like, don't waste it.
Yeah, don't wait.
Deirdre Maloney, I don't know if I should find out her whole name, but she is amazing. I think you should definitely get to know her early on because, she and then the rest of the fellowship office, so Steve Gump and whoever else is still there. But all of these people are going to be your biggest advocates for you in the fellowship process. So if anything, starting early might be going to their office and just saying hello, introducing yourself to them, and seeing what, which fellowships match the interests that you have. Once you're done with that, then you want to begin with the drafting process. So this process is,
it's long.
is a lot. But basically, most of these fellowship applications ask for an 1,000-word personal statement that all the questions are typically about why should we give you this fellowship, or what qualifies you for this fellowship? Or they might ask, tell me about an experience that somehow reveals why you're so good for this, application.
One thing that you want to have come through in your personal statement is who you are as a person, because you're also going to include your resume on the application. So they know what your accomplishments are. What they actually want to know is who is this person? What are their value sets? What do they actually believe, and what do they actually think about the world in general? Why are you doing this? So you really want that part of yourself to come through when you're writing.
You don't need an example of when you threw a conference and 20,000 people came. You don't need big experiences at all.
I think one part of my application I was talking about stand-up comedy, so absolutely not.
But it's the moments that you really should talk about are the moments that really matter to you. While doing that, reach out to your recommenders early. I cannot stress this enough. Don't be mean. Please ask them early on.
Email them, make sure that they know when the deadline is. Because again, they have a lot of stuff going on. I think one of my professors turned in my Rhodes recommendation late.
These professors play games sometimes. No offense, I love you professors. But sometimes they're just as much procrastinators as we are. So don't forget that. Your professors are still human.
They're still people.
So don't just, slide into their inboxes saying, can you write me a letter 2 days before? It's not going to work. Ask them at least a month in advance or earlier.
Yeah. You just have to be a person who's willing to put in a lot of hard work. It doesn't really matter your area of interest. I particularly do a lot of STEM research. A lot of computer science, and I was an electrical engineering major at Princeton actually. And yeah, so I wouldn't fit a lot of the boxes of what a fellowship person should be, but at the same time, here I am.
You could just apply as you and come up with like a really good personal statement that shows like the amazing aspects of you. You'll submit your personal statement, you'll submit your letter of recommendations and other little supporting documents. And then if you are, I guess, like approved or selected from that round, you'll probably go to the interview stage. I don't even know how to describe it.
I want to say like it's grueling, but it's more like it's very stressful because you don't know exactly what's going to be like. I think prior to all the interviews, the fellowship office does do like mock interviews with several like very high up people in the university.
And you'll prepare a lot for like by looking at your personal statement and having other people ask you questions. But I think the hard part about like the interviews is that the interviewers are like, I guess, trained to push back on you a little bit when you when you like answer a question. So in some ways, they're not going to necessarily take your first word. They're going to just ask you many follow-up questions about what you said or what your application says. Be prepared to like really stand your ground and be confident in everything you say, because at the end of the day, these interviewers are just trying to see where your head is at and see how you react under pressure.
For STEM people specifically, my interviews were, I guess, a little different than a lot of like people who are in the social sciences or humanities. In my Marshall interview, they asked me to find the eigenvalues of a matrix. They told me to take like a Fourier transform of like a rect. It's sometimes like, it could be unexpected, because I was not expecting that at all, especially in a Marshall interview. But if you do apply to the more sciencey geared fellowships, like Hertz specifically, then you can more expect those types of questions. Just be aware of what interview you're going into and what it's going to be like. I would say my Marshall interview was probably an outlier, but just know in advance like what type of questions you're going to get.
Don't freak out. Don't cry.
It'll all be okay. Like,
you'll be fine.
You still go to Princeton if you're gonna.
After the interview process, oftentimes you'll just find out who gets the fellowship. So, congratulations if you get one. And if you don't, it's not over. You can apply to so many fellowships. The thing is, don't be so caught up if one fellowship doesn't necessarily accept you, because there might be a whole nother fellowship, bigger and better, that has your name on it, that wants you. I think for me, I almost counted myself out of the SACS process because I was so caught up in not getting Rhodes. And like it would have been like, had I actually not applied to SACS, like I really wouldn't be here. Like if I just took that defeat that Rhodes didn't want me, like I wouldn't be right here like chatting with Hans. You know what I mean?
I remember when after I didn't get Marshall, I didn't get Rhodes, I think my parents were just like, don't apply to SACS, it's fine. You don't need another disappointment.
It's true.
But no, every opportunity is like independent of the last one. You can not get something and then get something else.
A couple more points, or just 2 more points. Imposter syndrome. I think it's so easy, especially as a Black undergrad, to kind of count yourself out.
I think even now, sometimes I'll think to myself, am I really, if I'm doing like a project and I don't really know what I'm doing, I'm like, maybe I'm not the person that's best suited to be doing this, or maybe I'm not, don't deserve to be here or be doing this. And so it's like, no, you're there for a reason. You are in that situation because you worked hard for it. It's not because of anything else.
Exactly.
So you really have to pat yourself on the back at the end of the day and be like, I'm here because I deserve to be. I worked hard for this. This is what I want to do. Don't let any other person say anything otherwise. Go talk to Dr. Maloney, firstly.
Yes.
Definitely go talk to her. Set up a meeting, just send her an email saying, hey, I want to meet with you.
You can even say our names in it. You can say Tyler and Hans told me to meet with you.
Yeah, exactly. It should be like, oh, Tyler, Hans, okay, let's go. There's a website, oip.princeton.edu, I think.
I'll post the link in a description somewhere.
Definitely go there to look up for fellowships, and then for specific ones, just type it into Google, and you can see what the process is like. Well, good luck, you guys. yeah, it's definitely a grueling process, but it's definitely worth it, whatever the outcome. Yeah, and I wish you guys the best.
Yeah, best of luck, you guys. We are rooting for you, and we know that you guys can do amazing things. Don't count yourself out. And if you ever need help, you have us.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of alum who are more than willing to help you. So don't forget, we're out there being your biggest supporters and advocates. So thank you.